we head into this match. Hopefully, relatively soon the teams are readying up. It's going to be Running with Scissors versus the Bugs. I didn't get my predictions blank. I actually think that the Bugs won't be putting up as much of a fight. I think that Running with Scissors, I've seen how they play against the other teams in the division, and I think they're going to do a little better. You said 5-3. I'm going to go with 5-2 or maybe even 5-1 for Running with Scissors. I think that Running with Scissors, even if they lose in the middle, they should be able to recover.
Well, we'll have to see. This is a soldier type map, and the medic play does come into it, but changes to the last, we'll see. I'm excited.
I have a special affinity for Goldfish because him and I used to play on an intermediate team together for we played together for 2 seasons, and I know Goldfish fairly well, and I'm really looking forward to see how he does here. I haven't had a chance to watch too many of his matches this season, but I'd love to see how he does up against Deathy. Deathy's been pretty solid actually, and the nice thing about Deathy and Sky that they play together a lot, so the chemistry there is good.
Yeah, combo chemistry is definitely an important thing. This is also, like I said, this is a map where I feel like Ubers are of utmost importance, and it is a soldier type map as well. So that loss of cohesion between the combo can definitely come back to bite you. Like if let's say you're Ubering to defend, your second point, and like you drop your pocket as he turns the corner, or like you pop too late, so like he jumps with 80 health rather than 300. Like little things like that make a huge difference.
Yeah, and a lot of teams will turtle up as you begin pushing into last, and so those teams will go for those one-man sacrifices. I think with the forward spawn being pushed back where it is, I don't think we'll be seeing any sort of like 3-man or 4-man sacrifices into last like we saw back in the old strategies back in the day. So I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing Running with Scissors. If they get to the 4th point, they're going to sacrifice Sen, they're going to switch him over to Sniper and just let him loose against the other team. And Sen's been proving himself to be a very good sniper all season long, very consistent actually. So that'll prove to be a good asset for Running with Scissors.
It will, but the other thing too that you could do is that's whether or not, if the team runs a sniper, and you're holding last, are you gonna counter snipe? Are you gonna solo on him? Are you gonna push off if you get a pick on, say, the sniper or someone else? Another popular thing this season too, Slin, is a lot of teams are actually 2-man sacking nowadays.
What's the reasoning behind the 2-man sack? Just curious.
Well, when you 1-man sack, teams generally don't push out. And on a map like Granary Last especially, which is so tricky to push into, but also really tricky to push out of, a lot of people nowadays are 2-man sacking to give you the incentive to push out. And then they're hoping that you kind of, mess up the push out, and then they just, like, roll off. The whole, like, reverse pick, bad Uber, like, bait them into a push kind of deal.
Yeah, one step back, 2 steps forward kind of thing. I like that.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get the other team to push out, maybe force them early, make them mess up their push out, and then hopefully capitalize on that. It is a larger risk, but you're right. I think that the 1-man sacrifice has become so ingrained in the TF2. Like, it's just a standard strategy. The other team knows exactly what to do. As soon as they see that 1-man sack, they just sack one back right at you. So yeah, I'd be interested to see if they do that. Interested to see if they do that tonight here. But like we said, that forward spawn being pushed back, I think it hurts. They did that on Granary just like they did it on the map Snakewater, where they pushed that second spawn back all the way on the middle, and to sort of de-incentivize the large sacrifices. And we saw teams like way back in the day doing 4-man sacrifices and setting up sentry guns and setting up heavies on the 4th point. We don't really see that much these days.
I think of like 4-man sacks. The only map you would really do that with sentry guns is you're probably alluding to Enigma on Mix-Up back in the day. But
yeah, that's right.
Warmfront was probably the largest culprit of that. Is we are going live, but I don't think we're gonna see too much shenanigans like that. But who do you think's gonna go big the first mid, Slin?
Gosh, we were talking about the soldier bombs, and I really want to check out Rakuso from Running with Scissors because he's a bomber. He likes to go in deep, so I'd love to see what he does here on this middle as we head into the match. I'd love to see your predictions, guys, in chat. Who do you think is going to win, the Bugs or Running with Scissors? What do you think is the score? Looks like Running with Scissors is going to be on the red team, Bugs on the blue. As we're checking out, looking at Jet real quick. He's getting here to middle. He's going to be full health and launches a sticky towards Mousy, missing that first one. Mousy actually going for the catwalk roll, so electing to stay on that high ground. Newspeak will be up there to join him as Jarrett does hit a sticky at the start of things. Looking at Rakuso now off the left side, not really connecting with very many of his rockets. He's going for more of a conservative middle, not really choosing to go in deep. Digi, though, meanwhile, picks up the kill onto Sky. That's going to be a big medic pick to start things off there. That's going to trigger the aggression from Running with Scissors, trying to, they have a lot of point presence here, but they haven't really gotten any kills with it. Now they're finally getting a couple as Goldfish goes down. Now Mousy soon to follow. It looks like Cole is trying to run away into the right yard, and actually they're gonna get cleaned up as Jarrett and Sen push for it and clean up the last 2 kills on the Bugs. What'd you see there, like?
Well, Digi was able to get the early med pick, but the thing with that has always been if you trade yourself for a medic early on, the rest of his team, like, if they haven't been hit too much, like, they're still going to be relatively healthy. So you basically just saw all of Running with Scizors instantly push into the Bugs there and just commit on them. And, you know, they had 5 guns versus 4, and at that point, you know, the medic advantage doesn't really matter too much when you're all clumped up on a point.
Yeah, you're right, and it sort of reminds me of those ulti-duo games, you know, where it's all about the fragging class versus non-fragging classes, and the Running with Scizors had that fragging class advantage. They were able to push forward and get the kill onto Cole, so Sky's gonna have herself an even Uber situation here, even though she spawns first. She hasn't been building quite the same as Cole has, and looks like Ubers are going to be almost exactly even, and then Running with Scizors seem to be content with that there as they transition over to the left side yard and begin trying to work a pick towards this lunchbox. They're climbing onto the upper stairs and taking control of that. There's going to be a bomb for Akuso behind Digi. He traps him in play there and takes Digi down, so that's going to give Running with Scizors the one-man advantage that they need to begin pushing the point.
Yeah, we should see an Uber exchange coming out right here as Deathy pops. Goldfish pops his as well. With the pick advantage, you know, what is Deathy? Electing to jump upstairs behind, not really accomplishing much. He should get traded out here, and this is probably just going to turn out into another stalemate here.
Yeah, there is Moo in behind onto Rakusa. They're going to trade 1 for 1 there as there's another scout in. That's Sen trying to get onto Cole, but he goes down. That's going to put Running with Scizors in a weird situation where they have no soldiers. And we talked about how Granary is a soldier-centric map, and without their soldiers, they're not going to be able to hold these choke points here. Looks like the Bugs are going to be able to break that second point and begin working their way into middle. You see Goldfish and Mousy already locking down the left side garage as Digi tries for the right side, but loses the 1 versus 1 against Evil Mr. Muffins. Goldfish in to try and help, but he goes down as well here. That's going to put Running with Scizors 2 men up. They're gonna jump into middle, and now Cole needs to try and escape out of the right side, but there's Rakuso behind him, and the bomb in from the rest of Deathy to finish off that kill there. Only Moo alive for the Bugs, and he's not gonna be able to do anything here to contest that middle point. He's gonna have to back off by himself. What'd you see, Blake?
Well, after they traded the Ubers at 2, the scouts on Running with Scizors were playing a little loose there, kind of going for picks they didn't need, and then the Bugs in their push in the middle, the soldiers just jumped too far, trying to finish frags rather than taking positioning, but we have the Bugs push back to their last tier with an Uber coming out from Sky. We should just see a round coming out here for the Scizors going up 1-0s. There's 1 frag happening, 3 people in the deep red, but no, it looks like the Bugs. Caster's Curse, Slin.
Yeah,
is it gonna happen? Oh, they got a whole Deathy shotgun.
Oh!
Nope, the Mousy pipes. So Mousy bringing out the pipes, saving the day. I think Mousy is top 3 pipes NA. I'm a little bit of a fangirl, but they managed to hold there. And also interesting to note about the pipe Slin is Jarrett was on the booties. Now I'm curious, is he gonna respawn with them or pipes? No, it looks like he's spawning with pipes, but so Jarrett seems to be running. He's running the booties to mid, but it looks like pipes everywhere else.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of interesting spawns, we do have Rakuso over on Spy, so he realizes that Cole has a slight Uber advantage here, and Rakuso might be going for a play as he sneaks behind onto the upper battlements, drops down and takes down Newspeak, gets piped off by Mousy, the pipe god. We're talking about him. He's hitting those pipes and got that 1 for 1 trade.
Yeah, the Mousy pipes once again, but the Rakuso Spy, I mean, trading yourself a Spy for a Scout, you know, not exactly the biggest of deals, but we do see about a 25% Uber ad here for Goldfish, and I'm curious as to whether or not he's going to use it. Doesn't really look like he would, otherwise he would have been moving through the Z.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he realized that he had that advantage. Both medics spawning about the same time after that interesting last fight that Running with Scizors initiated with their Uber advantage, and I'm really surprised to see them beef that push there because it looked like it was so good for them, but the Bugs were able to hold on. Let's see if they can do it again here on second point. Again, a very similar play to what we saw before. Deathy this time sneaking in through the Z, going for the solo Uber play potentially, jumps on top of the spool and is able to avoid some damage. Now on the left side, trying to work that angle. It's moved down to half health, but hasn't able to find any picks here just yet.
Yeah, we're probably going to see both the soldiers try and pick Digi in the staircase. Common way to crack the Granary 2 stalemate nowadays is you push both your soldiers into the steps on the left-hand side. While one soldier walks up, the other one jumps behind, but it looks like Mousy here having a bit of foresight as he's sticking above it. So
Rakuso going for that move once again, jumps in the lunchbox and takes down Digi, and Rakuso's done this twice now where he's able to jump behind Digi and catch him unawares. Now Deathy was able to walk across the upper battlements, drops down and takes down Mousy. Mousy. Cole, unfortunately, did not flash that Uber over and loses the Demo Man there, and that puts the Bugs 2 players down in an impossible situation for them to hold second point. So running with Scizors, an excellently executed play.
Yeah, and see, once again right there, like I said, little things like dropping a Demo Man and what's definitely going to be an Uber exchange. That's kind of the inexperience on Medic they're potentially showing, but this should be around for Scizors. 3 people in the deep red, all over the point here. A bunch of picks happening, but no, once again, they're just beefing it, Slin. I keep cursing them. The caster's curse is real. But from my perspective, they keep trying to rush the point when they really just need to finish the frags around the point and then just stand on it. Like, with the way the new last is kind of designed, you really stand out in the open, so if you stand out in cap, you're just going to get hit from every direction.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to mention, is that the Bugs look like they're playing tightly together. They're focus firing at the point. They're getting the frags that they need. They're playing the heals. Whereas running with Scizors, they're pushing to last. They're all spread out. And Sky doesn't have that very many options for his healing goes. So it's able to pick off a couple players here and there for the Bugs. And they're able to hold second point for the second time in a row. And now they're pushing middle. But oh, Cole gets dropped by Rakuso on Sniper with the body shot. Brings him down. And now running with Scizors on a second win here. Going to try and fight off this middle. Goldfish and Digi, though, chasing very aggressively towards Sky. They do bring her down, but at what cost? They've lost all of their players, and running with Scizors do manage to hold on the middle off the back of that play by Rakuso.
So, another change to Granary, moving the forward spawn back. That's something you actually see quite a bit of nowadays for people who have been playing Granary as of recent, is the Sniper in the new forward spawn. And Cole, I mean, if he hasn't played Medic before, he's not going to anticipate that sightline. So once again, you know, feel like I'm busting the guy's chops, but that's another potentially round-changing outcome right there.
Yeah, well, we are seeing little mistakes here and there, and at this level of TF2, that's going to cost you, as Moo, speaking of mistakes, jumps right in there and trades 1-for-1 with Jarrett. So that's actually a pretty good pick there, bringing down the Demo Man, and they're also down the roaming soldier Rakuso as well, so the Bugs getting a little bit of confidence. They're going to begin taking over the yard, and they probably want to get into middle here while Jarrett is dead.
They will definitely. No Demo Man means no sticky traps, and a big loss of spam is trying to push up this left lane here. Both teams with relatively equal Ubers, but the health on the blue team is just so low on 2 of their members. So they lose Mousy here, which is and they're losing Goldfish and Digi. Cole's gonna die at 93%.
Yeah, even Mr. Muffin's putting on a clinic there. He was jumping in and just dodging the spam of 4 different players, and then also used his pistol to take down Mousy. Like, that was a big play there by evil Mr. Muffins, creating that opening for running with Scizors to jump in and help him out. And now there's only Moo alive, and he's trying his best to scout out where running with Scizors are coming into last. And third time's the charm blank as they come in with the super. Is it going to work out for them?
Well, killing the medic early on is a good start. Now if they just draw out the fight here, they should be able to abuse the fact that they have heals and hold this. But as I say that, we are losing picks left and right. So 3v4 once again, so 3v2 right here. God. Just Rakuso and Sky versus the world as they beef it once again. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever kill a medic at the other team's last with your Uber, just sit back and play on your medic and you will eventually win. Because you have heals and they don't.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the mid fight, where if you just need to play the long game, and as soon as they got that medic pick, they could have regrouped together, played the heals, and drawn it out. But then you saw Sky all by herself having to fight off players with their own Uber saw as Rakuso does get Cole there on the second point. Wow, big play by Rakuso. Did not expect that to happen, and apparently neither did Cole.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty classic Rakuso play. They should have pressed tab when they successfully held last and realized that he had stayed alive. So even though they captured the second there, you need to keep tabs on that when you get to invite, because sneaky plays like that, you know, he was just able to pick your medic. Now you're sitting here at last with a 50% disadvantage. Well, you're not at last, but you'll likely be pushed back to your last with this 50% Uber disad.
Yeah, Cole does respawn here in time to dole out some heals to his team on second point, so they are going to be able to put up a little bit of a stand here. Sky with a very large Uber advantage is going to begin climbing her way through the stairs like she's done before, many times before. Deathy eating a couple pipes is going to be pushed back, but we've seen running with Scizors take the second point successfully many times, and you know, they have that advantage. They want to go on this. Moo's already resigned to holding last point. He's on engineer. He's already setting up at last, and apparently the rest of the Bugs are just going to back up here as well. Then that Uber advantage, they do want to use it, so Deathy's going to jump in and try and spam out Cole, but he's perfectly safe and sound on that right side of last, dodging that spam. So they're going to come back, and Cole unfortunately drops Goldfish. He dies to Deathy, so it's not going to be the best Uber here from the Bugs, but they are going to be able to retake second point with this Uber.
Definitely. They're still running the NG holding last, so it's kind of watching for the back cap shenanigans. Moo here, though, I mean, He should have been swapped off a little bit sooner, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. But Deathy went with his Uber advantage. It only ended up being about 20%, and it looked like he took a solo up top, which,
Yeah.
when you only have about a 20% Uber ad, you need to kill the medic if you're using that. And a solo Uber in the last one, there's a sentry gun, that's pretty much never going to happen, Slin.
Yeah, and we were giving Cole a hard time for a couple mistakes here and there, but he played that last Uber very well, where he was far back and away from Deathy's Uber, and he was able to kite that successfully and then bring a better Uber into second point. So nice job there by the Bugs, and we'll see how they play this out there. It's been a very close match thus far, with both teams trading blows like we mentioned. Unfortunately, the Bugs haven't really gotten control of middle point back ever since they lost that initial mid fight, and it's been tough for them, but it's been equally tough for Running with Scizors to push last.
Yep, it's, I feel like whoever wins this first round is going to win the game. What do you think, Slin? Is that a good call to make?
Momentum swings are a big deal here when you start looking at that clock.
I'd put $5 on it. I'm going to put $5. $5 on whoever wins the first round is going to win the game. You willing to take that bet, Slin?
I'm gonna go, God, goodness, I don't like betting money on these situations. You're putting me in an awkward situation here.
Let's bet a hat, Slin. Let's bet a hat. That's what TF2 is ultimately about.
I don't want to bet against you. Like, I agree with you. I think that the team winning the first round will also win the match. So I don't want to bet against you here. But it looks like Running with Scizors are in a position to win this first round because they have control of middle and they're able to just sacrifice Rakuso and be comfortable in that sense. The Bugs have not shown any aggression on a one-man sacrifice, but Rakuso swapping over to Sniper here might not be the best choice. It's hard to find sniping angles through that garage, through that choke.
Well, that's true. Digi tried to get aggressive after Rakuso had sacked, but a scout instantly shut him down, so he just backed off rather than, you know, continuing to go in when you're clearly going to get nothing and just feed. So Rakuso actually comes up on the Sniper. He might go down here living with 20 health, but it's a little bit of a sneaky play. You know, we've been talking about Sentient being the sniper for these guys, but Rakuso sacking and coming up Sniper, the jig is up now, but, you know, that first shot, you always have the element of surprise.
Well, this is one of the classic maps for stalemates. Like, if there's any one single map in the rotation that has stalemate problems, it's gonna be this map, Granary. That second to middle, the Bugs, it's understandably so, have reservations pushing at the middle there, as they do get that pipe pick there onto Rakuso, but they might actually go on this one here because they've been a little bit antsy. I've seen Goldfish trying to peek that choke, but again, they're going to have those reservations on a one-man sacrifice pushing it to middle, but they're going to go for it here as Digi jumps deep for Sky, unfortunately gets taken down right away, does land a rocket on the Sky, but isn't able to force that Uber.
Yep, this is the good old Granary stalemate. Now, are we going to see Running with Scizors? It looks like they're electing to push for this one pick, but Deathy's gonna walk into a wall of spam there, as it looks like Cole eats a pipe or something, and the Ubers are exchanged here in the Granary. Both soldiers just kind of staring at each other, but it looks like, Mousy might be caught out here. Will he go down to the Deathy Uber? Yes, he does. Goldfish manages to trade him out here, but the loss of Mousy is going to be a huge problem, as we have a bunch of frags being traded left and right, as Cole's able to get out there with 40 health. He's at last, all alone, but I think Running with Scizors, they should be able to roll this straight in the last.
Yeah,
Cole gonna go Pyro here, Desperation Pyro. No, Crossbow Kid 2.0, can he do it? No, he can't. So Scizors wins the first round. My prediction's looking mighty sound right now, Slin.
How can you say that? That was the first part of the prediction. The first part of the prediction was the first person to win the round will win the entire match.
The game.
The first condition's there. We still got like 45 minutes potentially left in this match. I think it's too early to call that one there, although I am in 100% agreement with you.
I trust my gut here, Slin. I'm watching Jared at this first mid. Once again with booties, he is up top sticky, manages to miss the dead on the scout here. No real early damage happening from either team, so this is going to come down to soldier bombs as Digi goes with a giant double bomb. Doesn't really get much done here. That should be a mid-fight win for the Scizors team, as generally an early soldier pick doesn't mean you're going to win, but 2 picks happening now. You have Scizors just playing the health here, 3 picks happening. Their soldiers have a combined health of 10, but Deathy manages to pick up a pack. Will Mousy be able to escort Cole out? It looks like he will.
You gotta keep your eye on Rakuso here. He survived with 2 health, ran out of like middle, all the way behind the team. So here he is now on Battlements, dropping down, doesn't find Cole, so he's gonna drop down on a Mousy, and he does get the kill there, so there's gonna be no trap. Running with Scizors is gonna roll their way into second point. Deathy trying his best to hold off Moo, is able to successfully push him back, and they did take down the Demo Man, so they could elect to go for that solo Uber there, pushing into last, but they're just gonna chill it out. get control of that second point, and now you're in a weird situation where this could be the tipping point for Running with Scissors. They have one round under the belt already, and they're looking to get a second.
Yeah, I really think, what is it? The Bugs. They should have They should have blocked second there with their Uber. I mean, sure they were down Mousy, but the other team was also down a Soldier, and both teams had even Uber, and there was a scout capping mid. So they actually had a 5v4 at their second there if they had elected to swap Ubers there, but ultimately, you know, they didn't want to Uber their scout on the point versus the Soldier, which, I mean, I can kind of see where they're coming from, but now you're sitting at last. And the problem with sitting at last is, you know, you're basically taking the chance hoping that they make mistakes, but, you know, starting out with an early pick like that, eventually the team that has you at last is going to win sooner or later.
Yeah, Rakuso gets the early one there onto Newspeak. Does get traded out though. Digi really close to that doorway on the left side is able to shut him down. So the 1-for-1 trade is successful, and I'm kind of disappointed with the way that Running with Scissors played that actually. After Rakuso got that pick, that's kind of the opening that you're looking for. There's not really much else that you can get, but Rakuso just peeks out by himself unassisted and goes down.
Yeah, I really would have liked to have seen him actually. I mean, even if you walk out with your combo there and you get the Ubers out of the way, you're exchanging Ubers with a pick advantage there, so unless you drop somebody during your Uber, it's really not all that bad.
Yeah. Well, we have seen the sniper versus sniper battle on last before, and here we are looking at it once again. Sen on sniper versus Moo. Moo's peeking that left side shutter door so aggressively. Does miss the shot and backs off. Gonna go up for it again. Does hit a body shot on Rakuso, but eats a rocket in return. And that's sort of the exchange there. Meanwhile, Digi playing really close in that upper lobby, and that's kind of a risky spot there because if the other enemy team knows that you're there, they can cut you off and prevent you from escaping. But Digi's able to use that spam angle to shut down Sen sniping from upper. So Sen's gonna rotate towards the left side shutter door and see if he can find something there. But that's a really tough angle to get as well because of that wall.
Yep. So typical granary stalemating here. Just depends on the... Well, it looks like Muffin should go down here, so we do have a pick for the defending team. Are we going to see a counter sack coming out, or are they going to take deep shots with their sniper? We have Moo trying to peek here on the left, but I really think more or less nothing's going to happen, Slin.
Yeah, well, it does look like you're wrong, as Goldfish is gonna go pushing upper two, and he does take down Rakuso. Uber's forced there as Goldfish and Digi peek the right side lunchbox, but they're gonna run into a sniper and a combo with an Uber, and that's not gonna be good enough there. So this is actually looking really good for Running with Scissors. Rakuso did die, but you can call that a one-man sacrifice for a force.
You can, as now, you know, the Bugs no longer have their Uber, and they're sitting at last with an Uber disad, and Rakuso coming up heavy here is, they dropped 2 picks to the Uber. This should be a round for the Scizors. We've jinxed them 3 times already, Slin. The 4th time's a charm, a lucky charm, is, they still have the 2-pick advantage. Goldfish should go down here, just 3 alive, 2 up, 1 HP scout. Can Newspeak do it? 1 HP in a dream, but no. The heavy coming in at the end right there. I mean, not really necessary, but kind of just putting an end to that round.
Yeah, and what really did it in for them there was losing that Uber on second point, but then also Digi went for an aggressive play and got picked off, and Sen hit a sick headshot onto Mousy to bring him down. So that put the Bugs too many players down to do that defense that they're so famous for in this first half, and we're up 2-0 for Running with Scissors. They're in the lead and a good chance to win this round as Mousy brought down very low by early spam. So Cole's gonna have to keep his meta gun on him as Rakuso goes for the bomb, puts Cole down to half health, and Running with Scissors thinking about getting aggressive. Deathy now bombs off the right side and takes down Mousy as Rakuso exchanges with Cole, and now all they have to do is play around Sky, keep her alive there. It's gonna be a 3-on-3 fight. Both scouts alive for Running with Scissors. This is actually an ideal situation for them because the scout is one of the best classes in the game right now. Moo down pretty hurt, but he goes in and with the help of Newspeak is able to take down Sky. Now Goldfish off the top side of the crate, putting in pressure, and now it's only evil Mr. Muffins. The 1 versus 1 here as Goldfish killed himself, and Muffins wins that middle for his team. Running with Scissors, the 3rd consecutive middle in a row.
Alright, so that was a little, if you watch Goldfish's paw after Cole had died, he kind of stood on top of the crate spamming, but when both of his scouts went in, he waited to reload about 4 or 5 shotguns before he finally rocket jumped in. I mean, ultimately they managed to kill Sky, but landing there and shooting a rocket at yourself, ladies and gents, not exactly ideal way to go.
No, but he does it with style. You gotta applaud him for that. And it looks like Rakuso is once again on Spy, and we've seen him go for the trade on a scout before, but the ideal pick here is gonna be Cole with both medics going down. Rakuso uncloaks and plain sight, and it gets instantly taken down. Mousie's been hitting lots of pipes this game, but it hasn't been good enough for the Bugs this far.
Pipe God can only do so much, you know.
Indeed, but speaking of doing so much, they're actually making it into middle. Moo does take down Jarrett on the right side garage, and the Bugs have taken their first middle point. Not quite sure what happened there to Running with Scizors. They were sort of defending the yard, but then once they lost their demo man, they had to give up that space.
Yeah, a lot of these teams generally giving things up even when they have Uber when they're only down one pick. I mean, the Demo Man is an important class as we see the Ubers exchanged here. Goldfish looks like he's getting the slightly better end of this as he's just walking forward at Sky. Is he going to manage to get the med pick? Nope, Cole goes down, Goldfish goes down, Jarrett goes down. A lot of picks being traded, but ultimately it looks like Running with Scizors once again comes out with a better Uber versus the Goldfish solo, and they now find themselves trying to collect whatever med packs they can find at mid, Slin.
Yeah, well, we find that Running with Scizors, they're just much more consistent than the Bugs because they're losing ground, but then they're able to take it right back after the mistakes that the Bugs are making on these pushes. Evil Mr. Muffins cleans up Digi there, and the bomb from Rakuso gets a second kill onto Moo by the choke. So Running with Scizors looking very good to take back this middle. Deathy actually 1v1ing it versus Goldfish. Goldfish is going to hightail it out, and Running with Scizors had the two-man advantage that they need to begin taking yard and begin working on their third round in this match.
Yeah, so they're sitting with a pretty solid 30% advantage here. It looks like they weren't able to move off the 2 picks they had earlier, but it looks like right now they're trying to storm through the left yard. Are they going to be able to catch out the Bugs here with this Uber? It doesn't look like so. They're still trying to move and use this. They will pop the Uber. Cole is at 85% as Deathy gets dropped, and Rakuso is at 1 health. They're just going to have to chill at second here, but is Goldfish going to pop back in? It looks like he wants to do so, Slin.
Yeah, they've picked up on that. They realize that there's basically two soldiers down for Running with Scizors. They also catch Jarrett as well. No heavy classes, essentially, for Running with Scizors as Goldfish tries to go deep over the top of the shack, but isn't able to land too much there. Does see that Newspeak, though, pushing forward, and they want to take control of choke. They know they have a very large advantage, and with the Demo Man still being dead, this is a good opportunity for them to potentially take back control of middle, but they decide not to pull the trigger, and we've seen the Bugs have these decent advantages, like solid two-man advantages that they can go on, but they've been a little bit tentative ever since they've gone down 2 rounds.
Yeah, but you know, when you're down a couple of rounds, you need to start making things happen if you ever want to have, you know, hope of coming back into the game. I mean, winning a mid fight and rolling into last is like the ideal dream, but right now, you know, when you get 2 picks when you're holding your second, you got to start taking chances.
Exactly, and there's only 7 minutes left in this first half. They got to make something happen, but actually on the one-man disadvantage, Rakuso decides to go in with the Uber. Deathy in to help out as well. They do take down Goldfish, but they don't really get much else there. This is an extremely risky play by Running with Scizors, and they might even be caught out of position here as they're still overstaying their welcome out in yard. Jarrett's gonna go down, and Moo and Newspeak pushing their way into the choke are gonna try and find Sen, but they can't quite do it yet, and they're eating spam from Rakuso. They're gonna back off and rotate to try and deal with Evil Mr. Muffins and Deathy, who are distracting over by the right side yard. Moo goes down, and it looks like a very scrappy fight here in yard.
Yeah, as they did basically the Chariot Uber, as you would call it with the double scouts, you had half of Running the Scissors get in the yard and try to backcap, and you had Digi and Mousy just not in the fight. So we have a very aggressive bomb in here at the choke, as Digi does go down, Deathy goes down, Mousy goes down. It looks like Sky, accurate. It's like a miracle that she's alive there. She was caught at a choke point with 3 rockets on her head, but Digi just not hitting the shots when needed to. And now Running with Scissors, pushing off the 2-man advantage here. They should be able to secure a second cap, but I think Goldfish is going to want to Uber on this too, Slin.
I think that's exactly the right way to put it, is that Digi made the right move. He jumped in onto Sky, but he didn't hit the shots that he needed. Now Sky has this Uber advantage onto Cole. Cole's gonna go down. Goldfish looks to be in a lot of trouble here as well, but they got the medic pick that they wanted. They're gonna back right off, get second point, which is what they want here as well. And now they're playing the long game. This is what we talked about. You take the enemy medic down, you play the heals, and you can slow push into last, and they're working their way through the door right now.
We have both the soldiers double bombing in from up top, and this dry push, is it going to actually work out? It's Goldfish versus Jarrett and Rakuso. Can he make it happen? No, Jarrett with the 2-pipe here, just Cole in the crossbow, and this is looking like a 3-0 half, Slin.
Oof, and I think you were originally predicting a closer match at 5-3. Do you think that's still going to happen, Blank? Because it's looking pretty one-sided this far.
Well, I got the other half of my prediction right, but you know, the Bugs had a lot of opportunities to make that prediction come true, but it looks like, you know, I think with the swapping around of medics, there have been a couple of scenarios where it's looking like that will no longer be the case. But, you know, the
Yeah.
game's never over till it's over.
No, you're right, and the Bugs need to regroup here in halftime and sort of sit down and reevaluate the situation because they haven't won any middles thus far. They have taken it back a couple times, but I think the real area where the Bugs are struggling are on their pushes. And when you're struggling on your pushes, you got to look towards the combo and the way that they're playing because those are the players that are leading that fight. And unfortunately for them, when they do go for those pushes, they end up getting melted and Running with Scissors are able to leapfrog their way back and take points back where they should be at a disadvantage. So, even though for Running with Scissors they had a rough start at the beginning of the game, failing a bunch of last pushes, the Bugs were not able to take advantage of that. They were not able to swing the momentum back in their favor, and they're down 3 rounds in this match. It's pretty brutal so far.
It's pretty brutal, yeah, but, you know, they still have a shot at this. The key thing they really need to swap is these goldfish Ubers. He always tries to do too much with the Uber, like it's supposed to win the game. When a lot of the times, you know, even if he has a slightly better Uber, he needs to not commit in with the combo so deep just to try and kill Sky off a like 1.5 second better Uber. He needs to like either focus Deathy after the Uber's fade with his better Uber, or like get the rest of his team involved on a post fight. Those have kind of been the crippling things happening in these Uber exchanges.
Yeah, you can see it in the way that Goldfish is playing. You can see it in the way that Digi's playing. They are trying to kill Sky off of these Ubers, and she's playing so far back that it just makes it hard to pick her off. They are able to get other picks like Jared and stuff, and I think if they can focus on getting those combat class frags, that'll do them a lot better here as we enter the second half.
As we go into the second half here, Slin, I see Mousy's actually he's joined Jarrett on the booty train.
Is he now? As yeah, it looks like Mousy's gonna go upper catwalk, Jared on the ground. We've seen this before. Mousy's actually at half health, so it's not looking the best for him here. And Jared hits an early sticky onto Moot, double sticky on him actually. His Goldfish goes for the high bomb. Digi in to follow up. They're trying to create that distraction. They're trying to take Jared down, but Jared stays alive and gets his health pack. So they got the one-man advantage heading into this middle. Goldfish in once again. They do trade 1-for-1 with Deathy now as Moo is trying his best to hold off the combo from Running with Scissors. Don't let them advance, but now Cole is looking to be in a very bad situation. He's on the point. Muffin's on him, but he's missing his shots. Muffin still hasn't been shot himself, but Jared's able to take that down. Meanwhile, on the other side, Moo brings it right back and takes down Sky. So it's a scrappy middle, but it looks like Newspeak is able to stay alive and get that captured down, and the Bugs in the second half taking their first middle point.
Alright, all I gotta say is Mousy going on the booty train was the right call. If you watched him at that mid, I mean, he got beat up pretty early on, but then the Running with Scissors just ignored him, and Mousy was just dropping stickies on everybody's head, left and right, and he just crippled them from what seemed like a surefire win at the mid here, but you know, ultimately, the Bugs end up coming away with that mid fight win solely off of Mousy's damage.
Yeah, I think that the Running with Scissors made a bit of a mistake too. They sold out trying to get Cole down because Cole was dancing around on the point by himself and he looked like he was caught out, but it took a lot of effort to bring him down, and meanwhile they were able to bring it back and take down Sky. So the Bugs actually have their first decent opportunity at a round. They have control of middle, they have a slight advantage, they can do something with this here, and they just need to I can see the hesitation, and they're approaching it slowly because they know this is a big opportunity for them.
Yeah, so are we gonna see the Digi sack? Are we gonna see Goldfish solo? Are we gonna see him try to flood left yard? You know, they have a few options here. This I think the first time we've seen the Bugs try to approach the Running with Scissors second, so be interesting to see what they choose.
We talked about how that they've struggled a little bit on their pushes, and this next push is no exception here. We want to make sure that they can do okay, but speaking of struggling, Jarrett's able to get that sticky kill onto Digi off the garage. So looked like Goldfish was posturing to push through the choke, but Digi gets caught there and they're gonna have to reset. Goldfish now actually wants to go for an exchange. Cole's gonna pop Uber, Sky's gonna pop Uber, and Sky with a slightly better one there, plus the number advantage. They might want to make their way in. Rakuso looks like he's in position on the catwalk. They see a trap, they're gonna push it out of the way, and Jarrett and Muffins are gonna make their way in. Now Moo gets Deathy down here, so it's not too bad for the Bugs. They're fighting for it. Oh, the double soldier bombs in onto Cole. They take him down, and now it's a scrappy fight. Digi on the high ground, though, raining rockets onto evil Mr. Muffins. He shoots himself in the feet, but looks like Moo is able to get 2 kills there, and it looks like the Bugs have successfully held that off and are able to make their way to second point.
Yeah, the Bugs got a little bit lucky there with Running with Scissors took their better Uber and just kind of stayed in that left lane at the mid, which is, you know, that's just the box where eventually the Digi respawn came in. he bombed in and he just had like free reign to salvage that fight for the bugs. But it looks like running with Scizors actually trying to push back out and recap this 2 really quick is wow, this is actually gonna work. Although they're
And with
pushing
a
back
sniper.
out, both teams have a sniper, so pro-lander play coming into effect here, I suppose.
Yeah, and you got to keep an eye on Rakuso here, who's actually pushed up pretty far in the drop down, decides not to go for it, so they're going to reset. And I'm surprised that running with Scizors were able to take back second point. That sniper pressure from Sen was enough to get the bugs to just run their way out. And Muffins is actually considering collapsing onto Digi. Rakuso comes out of that drop down, but now he's in a bit of a bad position as the Ubers are exchanged out in left yard. Deathy high in the sky, gonna get juggled back in the headshot from Moo, lands onto evil Mr. Muffins. So the bugs want to go for this. Deathy actually gonna get taken down by Digi out in left yard as well. So now it's actually looking really good for the bugs. Rakuso caught over here by the stairway. Is Goldfish gonna pick up on that, or is Rakuso gonna be able to walk his way out? No, they don't even care. They're just gonna shove their way right side shutter door, and here comes Goldfish now, putting pressure on the point, and the bugs, oh my goodness, they're on the board here, Blank.
Alright, so you see Slin, Goldfish Ubered, and he did what I said. He killed Deathy rather than trying to kill Sky. And look at that, beautiful things happen.
Yeah, and we've seen that teams that win the mid fight have enough momentum to just take it into last. Like, sure, the didn't work out that well for running with Scizors in previous rounds, but that was a fairly clean round there from the bugs, where they win middle and they win the round. They just moving their way methodically through. Let's see if they can carry that on through this next round, make it a closer match. Goldfish actually taking some heat as Digi gets through the garage back behind the enemy team, eats a lot of damage and goes down. And now running with Scizors are all bunched up together, playing the heals and pushing back Goldfish. He's gonna fall to Deathy, and now it's just a academic for them to push forward as Deathy shoves her on the right side, makes Cole back up with his heals. He's gonna eat a bunch of rockets. Deathy finishes off a scout, shotgun out, can't finish off Cole. He's the only remaining member alive, and Deathy picks up that frag there as running with Scizors have a very clean middle and win it very convincingly.
I think, what is that, about the second or third mid in a row where a soldier has died probably within the first 5 seconds of getting to mid for the bugs? These soldiers, for the bugs, I think, are committing a little too early or a little too deep. Judging from what I can see, Mousy's doing a lot of consistent damage and keeping them relatively contained in the lane. So, like, if they just wait to follow up on Mousy's damage, I feel like these mids would go much better for the bugs.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Goldfish has been going for these big game-winning bombs, and he's often caught by himself in these situations. I think I agree with you very much where if they could just let the rest of the team catch up, that'd be better for them. Here's the Uber advantage push comes into last. Sen and Deathy targeting down the heavy right away and bring him down here. Now they're going to focus on the right side shutter door. Goldfish in from behind, though, puts pressure onto Jarrett, misses the air shot, though, but does finish him off. And actually the bugs are once again holding on to last point despite not having Uber.
Oh my
Amazing.
goodness. Yeah, well, that Uber, I mean, it's like you said, they used the entirety of it to kill the heavy. The problem with that is, their medic was kind of caught in no man's land post-Uber, as well as the fact you have a scout and a soldier with no ammo that was just sitting in front of 5 buffed red players that were like, well, okay, I guess we'll just shoot you now.
Yeah, you got to be a bit frustrated, though, if you're running with Scizors. I mean, these are situations where you should be able to convert those pushes every single time, and to fail it so many times has got to be disheartening. The bugs have taken that momentum and shoved it all the way into middle. They've got control of it. They've got a 90% Uber advantage and are looking at a very similar situation to what we saw in the previous round, where they have an opportunity to take a round here and even out this match. They don't want to waste it. As Goldfish peeks his way through the garage and starts wandering in. Jarrett trying his best to spam them back and hold them off, but the bugs want to go right now. Rakuso's in the drop down, in a position to where he can go for a force. Drops out of it. Goldfish spots him, and he lands a rocket on Cole, but Cole holds steady. Now pops the Uber at 2 health, and they're going to try and shove it in through Z.
That was Veins of Steel there popping with 2 HP, but a demo and a soldier pick. Alright, bugs, don't get greedy. Just buff up here, and then try push aside. Just walk in with your health. Get a couple of frags. This should be a 3-2 game here, right here, Slin.
Yeah, Goldfish goes for a deep bomb, doesn't find it, but Digi's the one with the follow-up to take down Sky before she can get the Uber, and now they group up on the point, focus fire the point down, and the bugs are bringing it back. I mean, we talked about how it was looking grim for them after the first half, but you're right, like, they're still in this match.
Why did I go against my gut, Slin? My gut is like, you know, it's the crystal ball at TF2. It's just without fail, so. We actually have a close game here all of a sudden, Slin, as we have a 3-2.
It is a close game, yeah, and you might not be wrong, Blake. It could be a 5-3 match as Jarrett again taking the low ground, Mousy again taking the high ground. This time, Mousy's pushed up a lot further, so this might work out better for the Bugs because they need Mousy up there to help out, but this time Goldfish isn't going for the bomb, so they've done a reversal where Mousy's playing forward and Goldfish is playing back. It's not working out for them once again as Digi goes down. The bombs from Rakuso and Deathy are deep. They get the kill onto Mousy. They're looking at Cole. Rakuso's trying to chase that one out. Meanwhile, they're able to hold off the remaining members from the Bugs, and Running with Scizors are running away with this round.
That they are, but once again, just Digi going on relatively early in these mids. He needs to stop committing for these bombs when you very clearly have a scout on the crate and a scout on the catwalk. Like, when you jump in at that point as Soldier, that's just the sad zone. I'm sure everybody here who's like played a pug or whatnot, and there's like Badlands Spire, and you see a scout on the spire and you jump him, that's just sad times. And that's pretty much what's been happening to Digi at these mids. He just needs to slow it down a little bit. I'd like to see him change up his approach to mid.
I would as well, but we're focused here on the last point push. Sky, 70% advantage. Moo on Sniper. Will he be able to find the shot that brings down Sky? They do kill Evil Mr. Muffins on the shutter doors. Dithy gets popped in. They bring in Sen. They bring in Jarrett, but that Heavy still pretty healthy. Now Sen and Jarrett finish him off, and they're looking at Newspeak, who's over by the right side shutter door. Gets taken down. 3 frags. 4 Running with Scizors. They're looking at the point. Moo's pretty hurt. They bring him down. Cole is getting brought down from behind, and that's going to be the round. Running with Scizors finally converting that situation where they win mid with advantage and push into the last, and they get it the first try.
Yeah, finally. Well, that situation was also a little awkward in that Goldfish elected to bomb behind the Uber, which is generally like not a bad idea, but he ended up bombing into a Rakuso Heavy, as well as the fact when Digi was spun up on Heavy, he just stood there and looked at 3 Uber players rather than dancing around and like vaporized. We have another mid here with both Demomen actually on the ground, which we have yet to see. I'm looking for the Digi bug cam here. He's actually coming out of garage just now. Is he going for the bomb? Bombing in now. Goldfish goes down. He gets a lot of damage on a scout, landing on top of them at garage, but he goes down as well, and there should be another mid-fight win for the Scizors, Slin.
Yeah, Cole just looks lost on these middles, just wandering around, but he's able to group up with his team now as they get towards the health pack and they bring down Rakuso. It's not looking too bad. Sky pops through Uber. Cole seconds away from getting his, but oh no, isn't able to get it. The collapse from Running with Scizors, able to bring down the entirety of the Bugs, and the Bugs just can't catch a break here. It's looking grim. They did get Sky to use her Uber, but I mean, it's looking really good for Running with Scizors to close out this match.
It really is. As soon as like you drop to, like anytime you lose the 2-pick advantage on a mid fight, you just need to leave there. And you know, once again, probably a little bit. Oh, Goldfish out, drop down, drops the scout and the medic. So you know, that's one of those things where you gotta come up with plays in the heat of the moment. Nobody thinks, well, Pocket's not gonna be there, right? You know, they press tab and they see the Pocket. But, you know, that's one of those things you gotta expect. So just as I was about to say, you know, the invite inexperience of not leaving mid down 2 picks. We have people not checking for silly stuff now as Newspeak dies to a trap, and I'm starting to lose a grasp on the game here, Slin, as we have a Heavy at mid somehow shooting at a demo man.
Well, I do like the call from Rakuso there to slow the game down because they're up 2 rounds. They want to slow it down there, but a huge play by Goldfish brings down Sky. What should have been a closed out match, closed out round for Running with Scizors is the bad play call for them because they went for the left side yard, and that's an opportunity to get dropped by drop down. Like, you never want to go that way when you're in this position. They could have taken right yard, but now here comes Cole, here comes Goldfish and Moo leading the way in, pushing out Running with Scizors. Rakuso's gonna get caught out here, but he does force the Uber from Cole. Goldfish is looking to spam him down. They do bring him down there, but they aren't able to find anything else, but they're gonna settle for middle, and I think they're gonna be very happy about it. 18 minutes left in this match.
Oh my gosh.
Plenty of time for them to take this back, but here comes Running with Scizors. They want to go for this mid to contest.
So yeah, Digi goes down. Are any other picks gonna happen? Cole goes down. That's the key pick. So we're probably gonna see the rest of the Bugs either all in for a med pick here, or they're just gonna get out of dodge. As it looks like they're all getting out of dodge, but I don't know if you saw that Uber that got forced from Cole, Slin. Cole jumped up top on the crate, and he decided to fall off to the left side, and there was just a Heavy that miraculously was there, and that was the only reason he ended up using the Uber.
I mean, there's
so
no reason he should have used Uber on that middle. Puts him in a very bad spot. He's actually dead. That's 30% advantage for Sky as they begin corner capping second point. Mousy's trying his best to hold it off, but Sky is separated from her team, and they're going to have to rotate back through the yard. And Rakuso, oh my goodness, no. Huge bomb. The biggest bomb we've ever seen there off the upper. Yeah. Yeah, this is a really big play, and He brings down the medic, brings down the scout, and now running with scissors are just looking so good. But we've said this before, haven't we?
Caster's Curse, Slin, how many times can we do it? Is, you know, this should be the nail in the proverbial coffin, is, you know, full Uber advantage. They have a pick. They might get a second pick here. They have a second pick, and they have the backup heavy. If they beef this one, Slin, I think this is the night I uninstall TF2. As the Uber comes in on the left side, scouts are just getting on the point. Mousy, as godly as he is, you cannot kill invincible people. As they drop one scout, there are all the picks, and it's just Cole alive. And we have a 5-2 game on our hands, Slin.
5-2 is the final score, and just as I predicted, just gonna throw that out there. Like, I'm just gonna throw that out there that I predicted 5-2, maybe 5-1, but it was slightly closer than I thought it would be, because that first half was looking so one-sided. It was just like 3-0 running with scissors all the way, and the Bugs put up a very valiant effort to bring it back, and they had their fair share of chances to take back this match, but ultimately running with scissors played the more solid game, and were able to convert a lot more of their pushes into the second point and middle, and they just did a much better job in this match.
Yeah, all around they were the more solid, consistent team, and they were winning most of the mids very convincingly. So, and Granary is just one of those maps alongside Gully Wash. But I blame the Putis, Slin. That's the only reason that wasn't a 5-3 game.
You blame the Putis?
Yeah, if the Putis didn't force Cole at mid there, that was a 5-3 game. I can feel it in my bones.
I mean, to be fair, it was a play. I wouldn't even call it a good play, because Rakuso was honestly just caught out at middle, but he somehow got a force out of that one. And yeah, there's a couple plays I'm thinking back that were made by running with scissors that kept him in the game. But the biggest play in the round was that goldfish one, because that even gave him the fighting chance to even be in that position. But running with scissors, the more consistent team, come out with the victory there, and are one win closer to maybe making playoffs. There's still time. There's still enough matches in the season for them to potentially make it. I think the Bugs are out of playoff contention